What's going on, beautiful people? This is yours truly, Versace. Welcome to the One Now Real Talk Show. Today, guys, we are going to speak on a lot of stuff that's going on in America, man. For those that don't know, guys, I lost my main channel, the Versace Made It channel from YouTube. They said it was because of hate speech. Don't know where I hated a speech or where for speaking the truth. Speaking on my opinion. I never bully, harass anyone. I'm not racist, okay? But something big is in America. And from Tucker, Candace Owen, Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan, Patrick Bet Davis. Shout out to the team out there, Vinny, Adam, and of course Uncle Tom. Shout out to everybody. Patrick, I love you, brother. Keep up your good work, bro. You are somebody that we look up to, bro. Okay? You come from your dad's insurance business to owning what you own today. You are one of the most respected person on any platform in the world. You love the way you carry yourself. I love the way you treat your team. Hopefully one day you get to see my videos. I know right now I only have 1,200 in this page. I had over almost 40,000 subscribers, millions of views, past the 20 million views in total, probably like 40 million views in total, over 2 million watched hour, almost 1.2 million likes. And I was demonetized, so I never saw a dime from my main YouTube channel. I'm grateful I still got this one. Thank God I didn't have it on the 1L email. But they took it down because I was speaking the truth. Okay, sometimes I must have let my anger take over me. So sometimes I used to swear a lot. I used to tell people, "Go back to your country," like you know what I mean. Typical American, right? So with this channel, I am going to go crazy, but not as crazy how was I doing in my main channel. I'm gonna keep the swearing a little bit down, and I have to get creative with the wording. Because that's another thing that YouTube looks at is the wording, the way you word things. Okay. Going back to it. It might have sound a little bit like hate speech, but I was just talking the truth. It's a lot of stuff in America today that don't make sense. Too much distraction going on, too much crazy news. And this subject that you see on your screen right now, Minnesota under Governor Watts. Let me look at this cat thing here. Donald J. Trump on X posted, Minnesota under Governor Watts is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as the President of the United States, already terminating affected immunity to temporary protect status. TPS program for Somalia in Minnesota. Somalian gangs are terrorizing the people of the great state of, I don't know what it is because Patrick, it is billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, right? I've been saying this since last year, actually 2 years, okay, about that state, and it's not only Minnesota, Annapolis, all these states. I used to call them the whitest states of America, right? Beautiful towns, beautiful cities, because of certain government officials. Certain cities are not the cities they used to be in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, right? A lot of people moved out, high taxes, high this. So then you see a group of people that were let in by the Obama administration and Kamala Harris. This is why we're suffering the way we're suffering today. And I've been saying this for the longest time. If Biden and Kamala are responsible for the headache that we have today in America. Why isn't nobody going to jail? Nancy Pelosi and her husband inside trading billions of dollars. Nobody goes to jail. They stay with their money, their properties. They stay with everything. This dude right here scams billions of dollars from government to send to another country with terrorists. Nobody goes to jail. It's just too much. It's too much. I had to get off X. I had to like leave keep me away from that website as far as possible. Okay? I was getting sick of tired every time turning on my phone, the computer, the TV. All you saw was this negative. This push of negativity. It was too much coming at one direction. I couldn't duck everything because, you know. And finally, they're starting to listen to us American people. Listen to what Patrick B. Davis are saying here.
The United States hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protection status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of the great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President DJT. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, a Democrat, said in a post on X on Friday, he said he's exploring his options to respond. Donald Trump cannot terminate TPS for just one state or on a bigoted whim. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a Democrat, said on a post, it's not surprising that the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what happens when, this is what he does to change the subject. So, Vinny, when you hear this story, I mean, I got a couple other things I'm going to get to as well. But just with this, how do you process this story?
I don't know if you guys have noticed, I was going to say Somalia, Minnesota, Little Somalia, what they want to call, whatever they want to call it.
Little Mogadishu has
been on the news. And if you notice, Pat, Tim Walz, Tampon Tim and Ilhan Omar, kind of quiet last week. Kind of quiet. We talked about all the fraud. It's allegedly been carried out by members of the Somali community. Okay, hundreds of millions of dollars were stolen. This is the story we did last week. Sent back to Somalia, and guess what? It ended up in the hands of Al Shabaab, a terrorist organization. That's why they're all crickets. Okay. One source even said bigger. He said that the biggest funder of Al Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. Okay, and just this week, the 77th person in Minnesota was arrested in a $250 million fraud case against most of them are Somali immigrants. Trump, like you said, is ending the deportation status. And now recently, I think it was Friday, Rob, a Somalian officer in Minnesota, Pat, told the Somali community, and I'm quoting him, as Somalian police officers, we work for you. And that is why we are different
did you see that video?
From foreigners and white officers. Pat, can we play this?
Go for it.
markaan haddaan askarnahay Soomaaliyeed ininkaan inii shaqaynaa habeenii maalmo ininkaan inii taagannahay
day and night we stand for you and serve you.
Horta sidaa ogtihiinba waddankan anaga qaxootiyan imaanay askar Soomaaliya ma jiri jirin marka hadda anaga markii.
And that's the other thing that I keep reminding people. Do I have a lawsuit in hand to sue the United States School Department? And the reason I'm saying this, guys, pay attention, right? Since I was little, in kindergarten, all the way to middle school, to high school, right? I always asked, every school I went to, I always asked, hey, teacher, what do I have to do or be to become a president, a governor, a mayor, a congressperson? What do I have to do to get involved in like the government? Every school I asked that question told me the same shit. First, you have to know about law. So you have to go to school to learn about law. Then, but before you do any of that, you are supposed to be an American-born citizen, meaning you are supposed to be born here. Okay? Then you finish middle school, high school, and then going into college, you have to take a law class or whatever it is, right? That's what they all told me. you have to be a lawyer. You have to know about laws so you can work in government. I said, okay. Okay. Right? I was in kindergarten, middle school. Now when I go to high school, we had a school report to do on what is your future looking like when you graduate high school. And in that essay, after I did everything, I left on the bottom a questionnaire to the teacher, right? So I asked the teacher a question. And the question was, if I wanted to be the president of the United States, right? What do I have to do? And the same stuff that the teachers from kindergarten to middle school and now high school told me the same thing. You have to graduate here and go into college, learn about law. You have to become a lawyer first. And then when you become a lawyer, you have to become a mayor or a governor. And then you can become a president of the United States of America. I said, okay. Obama wasn't no lawyer. Obama came out of left field and became the president. Right? Clinton was a senator that became a president. But then Donald Trump was none of that and became the president. And then, listening to this story, how is it that this guy is a police officer when he was a migrant? He came here legally. I thought you had to be born here to become a cop, a mayor, a senator, a governor, a president. I thought you had to be a full-blown American. I didn't know that you can come through Mexico or sneak in through Canada, and a year from now you can become a police officer, you can become a senator, a governor, a mayor. I didn't know that until like last year. No, sorry, 2 years ago. That these Somalian people are marrying brothers and sisters so they can stay in America, but then they create this nonprofit shit where they scam billions of dollars, but these people are senators. These people are Congress people. How? I don't get it. Am I the only one, chat? Let me know in the comments, guys. I'm being honest. I'm being 110%. This ain't no clickbait. I'm asking a legit question. How are these people get government jobs? They get caught scamming. They get caught selling drugs. They get caught doing this. They get caught doing that. Nobody loses their job. Nobody goes to jail. And all we do is reaction videos on these topics every single day, every week, every month, and every year. That's it. And the more we start opening people's minds and eyes on everything that's going on, depending on the audience you have, you will get banned. Your channel will get shadow banned. For those that don't know what shadow ban is, meaning when you upload a video and you usually get 100 views or 3,000 views or 1 million views, well, when they shadow ban your platform or your videos, that means nobody's watching it. That means that the companies will take your upload and put them all the way in the bottom, meaning that it would not be in the algorithms of none of these platforms. The only way where people would know if you uploaded something is if they go directly to your page and click on the video. Crazy, but it's the truth. Listen to this now.
So now that we have them hired, it means we're working for our own people. We understand the culture, we understand the language, we understand the way of life. That's why we are different from foreigners or white officers.
We build that bridge, guys.
We build that bridge, that gap.
So
thank you again. And you know that every Somali police officer, whether you're in the homeland or abroad, works for you.
This dude needs to be fired and arrested immediately. Okay? This dude just ratted himself out in national TV right now saying that I don't work for the white man. I work for you, Somalia. I work even for you guys in the mainland country. Really? Guess what? Take that uniform off and you're going to jail. And who made you a cop? Oh, that person made you a cop? Then guess what? You're being investigated. How you got this legal migrant and because he passed a physical, you made him an officer? Have you checked their backgrounds? Who's checking people's backgrounds? People complaining about mass gun shootings and we have to have control on guns. But in reality, nobody is doing their job on checking background. This is why we have a crisis in the EBT world and in the food stamp world. Because nobody's doing their job investigating anything no more.
When you were asleep at night, when you're resting, we're the ones protecting you. So, mind you, I don't know if you guys know this or not, police are supposed to serve everyone equally. Okay, yeah. The moment you pledge loyalty to a certain group, you're not upholding the law. The law, the badge means nothing at that point, okay? Your loyalty, again, is the law. And, like I mentioned, Ilhan Omar, you guys notice she's the biggest mouth, the biggest crap-talking, Trump this, fascist, Hitler, Nazi. She's been quiet, but last week, this is her. Oh, she emerged last week when they were talking about Epstein, and look what she called the Republican Party.
Tom Emmer has been a huge part of what I call the pedophile protection party. They've done every single thing possible to make sure that these files on Epstein were not going to be released.
Pretty, like, if you think about it, is that pretty ironic? She called the Republican Party the pedophile protection party, but she praised to a prophet that was the most prolific pedophile, Aisha, 6 years old, and what married her at 9. So let's be honest, then she's in the pedophile worship party. And again, allegedly, she married her brother for citizenship for him. So it's so rich to hear her talking that nonsense about an entire party. Meanwhile, she's praying to this guy. And I think, Pat, there's so much bad happening in freaking Minnesota, and I'm so happy that Trump is making these moves because enough is enough. How much more are they going to be milking off the taxpayer, hating the freaking country, having police officers that are like, hey, I'm all about Somalis and talking crap about white officers and other officers? No, that's what we were talking about, slowly coming in, doing their thing, multiplying, hating the country, and this is what we get.
Tom.
You know, what really was I found very galling on this was Police Chief, I think it's Brian O'Hara. Yep, Brian O'Hara. So he says, hey, we solved this crime. We arrested some people. Quote, they were part of a group of Somali youth who have been involved in a number of violent crimes in our city. That's all he said. Mm-hmm. But immediately they all went hard to the hoop. And they said, outrage from community leaders. I can't believe you're saying this. You're stereotyping us. Wait a minute. When the police chief in Los Angeles says, you know, the Crips and Bloods have got groups of youth in them that have been brought, you know, recruited to each other that are committing crimes and terrorizing part of the cities. They're not stereotyping all African Americans. They're talking about this group. And he took such heat, he came back and actually took it back. I take full responsibility for my poor choice of words. My intent was to provide context and the pain I have caused. Now you're confessing that just saying to the people, hey, there's a group of Somali youth, not all of them, yes, a group of Somali youth that are doing some really bad things, and we have to go out there and restore law and order. And this is what happens when you don't have assimilation, right?
Exactly.
You have a group that wants to maintain. This is the difference between invasion and assimilation. There, I said it.
Bingo.
Ooh, Tom went there.
Adam.
So, two things. I have no problem with police officers looking like the community that they serve and protect. So if you're Mexican in the Mexican community.
Good.
If you're black,
Fine.
In an African American community in Compton, wherever it may be, in Jews in Brooklyn, whatever it may be, you should serve and protect your community. It builds trust. You can communicate. There's respect level there.
guys.
I'm an advocate for that. The challenge that we're going to have with these types of communities is really the biggest question that I think we're going to deal with from a socioeconomic standpoint, and that is this: is Islamism compatible with Western American values? That's the question. And I'm not talking about individuals. I have Muslim friends. I have Jewish friends. I have Mexican friends. I have Japanese friends. I have Japanese. As long as you assimilate to American culture, we good. But if you try to keep your own culture, Sharia law type stuff, in American cities, that's where you lose
And
people.
did you know it's not? Pat, I looked it up. It's not. Sharia law to being implemented here. It's not illegal.
Well, did you see, so the fastest growing community of Muslim community in America, do you know what city it is? It's in Houston, Texas, ironically.
Yeah.
So we get preoccupied with Dearborn. We talk about
it's
Minneapolis. It's happening in each of these cities. Governor Abbott, I believe, outlawed Sharia law in Texas. Rob, you can fact check that, please. What eventually will happen is each state is going to have to just outlaw this nonsense and say, come and assimilate to America. Correct. We want you. We like you. We love you. You're all welcome if you follow American values and laws. Straight up.
Because I'm almost positive, Adam. If he did it, that's good. Answer. But I think constitutionally, it's not illegal to impose Sharia law. If I'm not mistaken, Rob.
It's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, which I don't think is a good thing.
Rob, while it's doing that, did you have the clip of the officer apologizing for identifying Somalians?
Yes.
Did you guys see this clip?
No.
Watch this here. Go for it.
The Somali community here in Minneapolis has been welcoming and has shown love towards me, and I appreciate it. Over the last 3 years, we have been working together.
It's crazy. Look, it looks like he's been punked. Like, bro, you better say this or we all coming after you. And it's a shame, guys, right? It's not being racist, man. You guys like to throw this word around. Thanks to you guys, the black community, right? Everything is racism. First thing is first, guys. I don't care if you're pink, purple, burgundy, beige, white, off-white, bone color. I don't care. I respect and treat everybody the same way I respect my people here in my house. I can meet you today. I'm going to respect you the same way I respect my family, friends, and loved ones. Now, if you cross that line, I don't care if you're a female, a baby, an animal, you're going to get dealt with. Real talk. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not none of that. Okay? But one thing I'm for certainly, I am 110% full-blown American. So you know what that means? I love this country. I have fought for this country. I'm still arguing about this country. Every day I upload a video is because I have concern to my country. Yes, there's been a bunch of bad apples. Yeah. But you can't blame all the trees you see for a bad apple. It's just that tree was throwing bad apples. So you move on to the next tree, right? And what's happening in America, because our politicians been so focused on how to get rich scheme so fast that they put on the blindfolds and forgot that what we were doing, 20 plus years of war, our enemies' kids and family members were sneaking in here. What? No, why? I'll be back, chat.
To try and address some of the real serious problems that we have in our community. We have to be honest at times with the problems that we're having in our community, and we need our community to help us fix those problems together because it's real and it's serious. At the same time, if people have taken anything that I have said out of context in a way that's caused harm, I apologize and I'm sorry for that because that's not my intention at all.
Wow. Oh, man.
Apologizing for the other guy taking your words out of context?
Yeah, I didn't take him out of context. He did.
My gosh, we'd spend all day doing that. I'd really like to apologize
was
for
like
all the
Captain- like a
people
scene from
that
Captain
jumped up on
Phillips.
X and took my words out of context here on the podcast and got all upset. I'm so
They
sorry.
look like they
about
had him
that.
hostage. Like, have you seen Captain Phillips? That's exactly what that scene looked
this
like.
is-
Like, I am the captain
This
now.
is
And he's
where
like,
you-
oh yeah, I'm not gonna be the captain.
This is
anymore.
where you end up when you don't have the guardrails. He didn't start out there. He ended up there. Minneapolis Police Department didn't start out there. They ended up there.
And Rob, what is the idea where they sent $20 million over to? Let's address that real quick. The Sharia law, if you don't mind. So the Greg Abbott outlaws Sharia law in Texas. Yes, Abbott has signed legislation, made statements saying that what he refers to as Sharia law in Texas, but the legal scope of meaning what he calls that is narrower and more complex than a blanket outlawing of religious practice. So it's not going to be as easy as one thing for him to be able to ban it. But
billions of dollars.
Hold on, Chad. Fuck this commercial.
Still, there are people that have legitimately could use.
So to taxpayer, a federal investigator says yes. An alarming claim first reported by City Journal, which spoke with multiple former federal agents. The U.S. Attorney's Office has charged dozens of defendants across multiple schemes, including housing aid fraud, pandemic child nutrition fraud, and false billing for autism therapy. In total, prosecutors say these schemes have cost Minnesota taxpayers billions of dollars.
Still, there are people that have legitimately could use those resources that are not getting those resources. It's past criminal.
Minnesota is home to one of the country's largest Somali communities. Former state fraud investigator Keish Magan, himself a Somali American, wrote last year that it's uncomfortable and true that nearly all defendants in these major fraud cases come from that community.
Good for
They
him.
have taken advantage of the most generous country in the world and one of the most generous states in that country.
And according to City Journal, some
Let me know in the comments what do you thought, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I love you guys.